Hey, what's up, guys? This is Levi here and my lovely wife Stephanie.
Hey guys.
We thought we might go on a project, a very long project of sharing the gospel with the world on a weekly basis, and so we're gonna start from Genesis chapter 1 this week, and want to try and do a chapter of the Bible every week. It's a very lengthy project. It might take us about 30 years, I think. So we're praying and hoping that in 30 years we will both be alive.
And look back on this video and be like,
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
the start.
yeah. But I mean, if one of us is taken by the Lord, I guess the other one will.
Let's pray it's me so you can keep doing the videos.
No,
I don't know if I can edit them on my own.
No, you can. You've done so many videos lately. I mean, I'm sure you can. Yeah.
This is also known as Genesis for those who don't have your wonderful accent.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everybody from where I come from just calls it Genesis.
Okay, everybody from where I come from calls it Genesis.
All right.
I
So
don't think one is right or wrong.
yeah, I don't know which part of the world you are coming from, but
I guess people that speak Hebrew might know the right one.
like what? Genesis?
Genesis.
Genesis.
I don't know. Anyways.
Genesis sounds Hebrew. Genesis.
Maybe if someone who speaks Hebrew watches this
Yeah,
thing and
yeah.
instruct us.
If you speak Hebrew and maybe not only Hebrew, what are the other Asian languages? Is it Middle Eastern languages? I don't know.
Arabic.
Arabic, yeah, that's the one I wanted. That's the one I wanted. Arabic, yeah. If you speak one of those cool languages and you know the proper pronunciation of this word Genesis, please feel free to link us up and tell us how to best pronounce it. So yeah, we're gonna start by reading the whole chapter of Genesis, and after we finish reading it, then we'll take it over from there. And so yeah, I guess you can read half, then I'll read the other half.
Okay.
Yeah.
Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw that the light was good. And God separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening and there was morning the first day. And God said, "Let there be an expanse in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters." And God made the expanse, and separated the waters that were under the expanse from the waters that were above the expanse. And it was so. And God called the expanse heaven. And there was evening and there was morning the second day. And God said, "Let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. God called the dry land earth, and the waters that were gathered together he called seas. And God saw that it was good. And God said, "Let the earth sprout vegetation, plants yielding seed, and fruit trees bearing fruit in which is their seed, each according to its kind on the earth." And it was so. The earth brought forth vegetation, plants yielding seed according to their own kinds, and trees bearing fruit in which is their seed, each according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening and there was morning the third day. And God said, "Let there be lights in the expanse of the heavens to separate the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons, and for days and years, and let them be lights in the expanse of the heavens to give light upon the earth." And it was so. And God made the two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. and the stars.
And God set them in the expanse of the heavens to give light on the earth, to rule over the day and over the night, and to separate the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening and there was morning the fourth day. And God said, Let the waters swarm with swarms of living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the expanse of the heavens. So God created the great sea. And God created the great sea creatures, and every living creature that moves, with which the waters swarm, according to their kinds, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw it was good. And God blessed them, saying, Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let birds multiply on the earth. And there was evening, and there was morning the fifth day. And God said, Let the earth bring forth living creatures according to their kinds, livestock and creeping things, and beasts of the earth according to their kinds. And it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth according to their kind, and the livestock according to their kinds, and everything that creeps on the ground according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him, male and female he created them. And God blessed them, and God said to them, Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over every living thing that moves on the earth. And God said, Behold, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is on the face of the earth, and every tree with seed in its fruit. You shall have them for food. And to every beast of the earth, and to every bird of the heavens, and to everything that creeps on the earth, everything that has breath of life, I have given every green plant for food. And it was so. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And there was evening, and there was morning the sixth day. Yeah, so we read this passage a couple of days ago, and we found a few things which we thought were very interesting. I think one of the points is just how this chapter is pregnant with so many things which introduce us to the whole world. And I guess even with the verses and chapters which are going to come next. One of the things which we found was about the word God in Genesis. You want to take us through the name or the word God?
Yeah, so I found the Hebrew word for God in the passages we're about to read is Elohim, and I saw the spelling. It was pretty cool. And so they were saying, the commentators I was reading were saying that actually this word for God is triune. So there's multiplicity in it, 3 in 1. And so there was actually, what is that about? An eminent Jewish rabbi, Simeon ben Joachi, in his comment on the 6th section of Leviticus, has these remarkable words: Come and see the mystery of the word Elohim. There are 3 degrees, and each degree by itself alone, and yet notwithstanding they are all one, and joined together in one, and are not divided from each other. So that's basically the way that Christians view the Trinity. 3 that are separate and yet one. So not multiple gods. It's a mystery. It's hard to explain.
It's a mystery, yeah. I think that's the whole idea with the Bible. Part of it is just, we have to accept everything by faith. At times you might not get any explanation apart from the fact that the Bible says it. and especially, you gonna say something?
Oh yeah. How did you know? No, I was just gonna say I think sometimes it is by faith, and then other times there actually is a lot of evidence when you research it. So I guess one of the cool things that I like about Christianity is it's actually encouraged to question God and question what He says, and research and ask what's going on. God is big enough and strong enough to take that. So.
Yep. Yeah, and one of the major themes of Genesis 1 is just the whole idea of creation and how we see that God made everything. You know, in the 6 days, he created the whole earth and everything that's in it, just by His word, just by speaking the word, and everything came up. And even more interesting is the fact that He made everything out of nothing. Today, it's as human beings, we can make certain things, we can invent things, but we're basically building on what has been made already. Nobody makes anything just out of nothing, and just that shows how powerful God is, and that kind of a God is the God I want to worship, because He's very powerful. Making something out of nothing. I think another issue which I know has so much debate is the whole issue of speaking the word. Just because we read here, God spoke the word, and so as Christians we're supposed to speak a word, and everything will come to life. I guess we won't get into details about that for now, unless you'd have thought about that to say.
Well, I think that's an issue that can pertain to people on your side of the world a lot. I think I was thinking of, on my side of the world, I think we focus a lot on evolution and science and how that can balance with the Bible.
Well, but I mean, we watched videos yesterday. Remember, and it was all American preachers.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so in answer to your question, no, I don't have another thought on that.
Okay.
I was just gonna speak to science and evolution fitting in with this chapter. Just that there are a lot of different viewpoints that you can hold as a Christian. So I think that's important to note.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, actually, talking about that, I don't know if we've spoken about this, but just the debates which go with, I know different Christians have different perceptions about the time period between Genesis 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Certain Christians hold that there are millions of years between Genesis chapter 1 verse 2 and Genesis chapter 1 verse 3. Like, what kind of time period was there? And I know there are also a group of Christians which say when God created the earth in 6 days, it wasn't 6 24-hour days, it was 6 1,000 days.
Or longer, yeah.
Yeah, or longer, yeah.
People have different opinions.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the underlying factor is God created everything. No matter how you view it, if it's not leading you to the fact that God created everything, then I think it's a wrong concept.
Because that's what His word says.
That's what His word says. Yeah. I think, I'm just seeing there another interesting thing, just how the Bible actually begins with God. Because it says, in the beginning, God created.
Yeah. It's His story.
It's His story.
It's not like creation happened or
yeah.
this is how people came to be.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be very interesting to see, 30 or 40 years down the line when we get to Revelations,
Yeah.
when we see the same God close the story.
Mm.
I think that's going to be
Yeah.
fun. He's starting the story and he's going to get to end it.
Mm-hmm.
I think moving forward, one of the cool things that we see in God's creation is the uniqueness of man when he was created. And we're just going to talk about 5 points here. The first one being man was God's final creation. After God had created everything else, the insects, the animals, the plants, man was the last thing God created. And the second point being that man is stated as being in the image of God. I don't know, do you have any thoughts about man being in the image of God?
Yeah, I heard a good example once in Bible study where, if you think about a beautiful mountain scene with a lake, wow, I would love to be there. So let's say I see that and I want to paint a picture of it, or even take a picture of it. Well, if I show you the picture of the mountain and the lake, you can't climb the mountain, you can't swim in the lake, but you can see the beauty of the mountain and the lake. You can understand a little bit about, was it sunny, was it shady that day? So in a similar way, we reflect God in special ways, but we're also not God. Yeah.
Yep. And I think I've had people talk about us human beings being little gods with a small g, and that's a very interesting doctrine which might not be really true about
Isn't
us.
true, yeah.
Isn't true. And I was trying to be, lenient towards those people, but it's not true. That's right. So yeah, man is made in the image of God. The third point is that only man is given dominion over all the earth. And the fourth point, which is unique about man, is that prior to his creation, there was some kind of a divine council in heaven. Let's read verse 26, which says, read for us.
Then God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth."
Yeah. And, we're just seeing this sort of like a discussion which is going on in heaven before man is created. And it's different from what happened with the other things which God created, because he would just say, let there be fish, let there be animals, and the things would come up. But when it came to man, I feel like there was more thought, I guess, because of this discussion we're seeing in verse 26.
I don't know if it's that there was more thought, but there was delight.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, that's right.
I read that in a commentary. I think another thing that is good to point out here is the plurality again. That it's a one single God that we serve. Because I read in the Quran that there's also we or us used to describe God when he's talking about himself, or Allah when he's talking about himself. And I think in the Quran that's similar to maybe high language, like thee, thou, that you would read in the olden times, like, let us go to war, let us go to the castle. But in the Bible, that us is talking about different people. It's not a high language that's being used.
Yep. That's right. Thank you for that. The fifth thing which is unique about man is that he's the only one who's explicitly stated as being created male and female. The other things we just created, animals. But God is clear that man and woman. Sorry, male and female, I guess. Yeah.
I thought a cool application that I read in the commentary, I'm just going to read it so I get the wording correct.
Yeah, sure.
It said, God made but one male and one female, that all the nations of men might know themselves to be made of one blood, descendants from one common stock, and might thereby be induced to love one another. So I love that application, that we can see we're all coming from the same place.
Thanks for that. And in conclusion, I think one of the things we would love to leave with you guys more of an application is just seeing how the world was empty and shapeless and useless beforehand, and God came in and he made it a very beautiful place. I think that's the same thing with our lives. Before we have Christ, our lives are just dark and sad lives, but when Christ comes in, he changes everything. He makes our lives colorful.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I liked this other point that so the water was covering the surface of the earth, right? And then when God, in creation, he brought order to that water and lifted up the earth from the water. Because before that, the water was just covering everything. The earth was useless. So sometimes in our lives, we might have gifts or talents that are covered, and we need to ask God to create order in the chaos of our lives. Whether that's talents what we might have, whether that's gifts we might have, maybe asking God to grow the fruit of the Spirit in us.
Yeah.
He's powerful enough to do that.
Yeah, that's right. And we use so many articles to come up with this, and we're gonna put some of the links of those articles in the description below. So please feel free just to go down and visit some of those websites, because they have so much information. We couldn't speak about everything they spoke about, the authors of those articles, because if we had spoken about Genesis 1 in detail, it would have taken us
like 30 years.
30 years, So yeah, we just went through the surface of Genesis chapter 1. And so we'd love for you guys to just go and read more about some of the stuff. But also in conclusion, we want to end with a song of the week. We both love music a lot, and so this week our song of the week is coming from Zambia. Yep,
Go Zambia.
Go Zambia. There's a song which we've been listening to lately. It's by a lady called Esther Chungu. The song is called Love Letter.
For those of my friends from my part of the world, could you just spell that last name?
Well, it's actually on the screen right here. So.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. That's actually our alarm to stop us recording the video now. So yeah, enjoy. If you have questions, please feel free to write back to us with the information, and we'll be glad to answer if we know the answers to the questions.
Or give you a link to look at.
Or give a link to look at. But yeah, we hope you like our video.
God bless you. Bye.